everyone look at me. Giving up.
Noise.
I kept practicing until I could do it. His idols are the dancers on a truck of happiness. And he's not alone. Children across town are eagerly awaiting his arrival, practicing stunts and tricks in preparation. They don't just want to watch the show, they want to take part. Alex, Luan, and Isaac are on tour all year round, traveling to the remotest corners of Brazil. The seven-strong team is planning to spend a month here. They've rented a house together. Unfurnished, it's barely luxury. They live out of suitcases, sleeping on mattresses. I grew up in the favela. I've known far worse than this. This is actually pretty comfortable for me. At 16, Isaac is the youngest, and Luan, 23, the oldest. He developed a passion for dancing as a kid, joining the truck at 15. Luan wants to travel and make something of himself. We're an inspiration for many children, for many people really. It's my job to bring fun and entertainment to everyone. Their costumes are based on Brazilian comic book heroes and video game characters. The first evening in a new place is always particularly special. Will they win the hearts of their audience? Showtime, for the equivalent of €3.50. Passengers enjoy a 40-minute ride across the city. The thick foam-filled heads make it hard to see, hear, and breathe. Especially when performing stunts. Local kids take up the chase, eager to show off what they've spent weeks practicing. David. That was great. Are you going out again? Sure. As long as there's demand, the truck keeps driving. Ticket sales pay the bills. The first truck started out 20 years ago. Now there are 300 of them across Brazil. Many feel they're more important than ever. An antidote to the misery of the climate crisis and wars. When you watch the news, you get scared. You lose perspective on the future. There's so much energy here. People can forget for a moment how hard life is. The performers might be joy merchants, but it's not all fun, fun, fun. Sprucing up the truck is part of the job. And with just one day off from dancing a week, Luan's legs are starting to ache. People think we lounge around in the pool. They think we stay in hotels.
Nossa senhora, a gente que acha que a gente aluga hotel.
The performers earn €200 a month. Not much, but Luan says it's at least an honest wage. His family fell into the drugs trap. His father is dead, and his brother in prison. Luan thinks he too could have gone off the rails. The truck of happiness was his salvation. I think I'd be dead by now, or dead, one of the two. Instead, people recognize me. They know me and celebrate what I do. The costumes are almost a symbol of their shift into a new life. None of them could imagine even a week without all the applause and cheers of the fans. And they can be sure that a little boy will be waiting for them on the corner to join them for 5 joyful minutes of dancing.
Most of these places are in ruins.
But for these intrepid couples,
It was love at first sight.
there's the opportunity of a lifetime
Absolutely beautiful views.
if they can survive the renovations.
We feel exhausted. We feel exhausted.
The do-it-yourself project like no other. On Help, we bought a village.
Next, only on PBS Wisconsin.
Here's a classic movie quiz. 1987's Spaceballs features an all-star cast including John Candy and Mel Brooks.
You're hiding me. Who has some heard of yogurt?
Who liked the screenplay so much he had his company outmake the movie? Star Wars creator George Lucas.
I can't breathe in this thing.
Spaceballs.
Tonight on the Wisconsin Channel.
Tonight is your night to catch up.
Catch up on all your favorite shows.
Let's go. In here, you can make your escape.
Go places you've never been before, places you've only dreamed of.
All your favorite stories are made in one place, right here. Come exploring with us on Wisconsin Live.
Travel our entire state. Join me for John McGivern's Main Streets.
I'll meet you around the farm table.
The people and plants that make life richer.
Get your hands dirty with Let's Grow Stuff.
We bring you the issues that matter, not just the story of the day.
We want to give you a taste of the good life with Wisconsin food.
There's something for everyone, made right here at home.
The cameras are rolling, so come along with us. What could be more fun than this?
Celebrate the enriching heritage of Black History Month with PBS Wisconsin this February. Uncover the reclamation of Black Americans and their continued work for equality.
Oh my goodness. This is one of those stories no one ever talks about, obviously.
Watch live or stream anytime.
Generous programming support provided by the Berta Crusader Endowment for PBS Wisconsin.
On the far west of Ireland is a place like no other. We call it the Burn, the place of stone. It's wild and foreboding, but it's one of the most diverse ecosystems on Earth.
Sunday night on the Wisconsin Channel. When architect George Clark
Just look at that.
tours locations cared for by the National Trust,
It was state of the art when it was built.
he's in for wondrous surprises.
There's a full tunnel that's being carved out.
Visit these incredible places
Such a unique building.
and discover their secrets.
I think this is one of the most beautiful gardens I've ever seen.
George Clark's National Trust Unlocked. Sunday night on the Wisconsin Channel.
Wherever you are, however you watch, PBS Wisconsin is there. PBS Wisconsin, anywhere.
Join me as we explore fairs, looking at the present and looking at the past.
The American County Fair, one of our most nostalgic institutions, a place for community, family, education, and of course, fun.
The whole community gets together, they have a big fair, they go out, they just have a great time. You can't go wrong with the fair.
Jerry Apps Meet Us at the Fair premieres Monday, March 3rd on PBS Wisconsin.
Us Brits just love house hunting in Europe, but not everyone settles for an ordinary property.
This is the key.
It's massive.
All over the continent, there are thousands of historical hamlets, villages, and cortijos.
Everything you can see in Europe are abandoned villages. I guess it's the old high street, isn't it?
Waiting to be rescued from decades of neglect.
Well, what you actually pay for it?
On this series, we follow the plucky Brits taking on the challenge of a lifetime,
It's the entire village, and I'm just one woman.
transforming these unloved settlements
Just wondering, like, where to start?
into beautiful homes and businesses.
We're officially open.
They will uncover ancient mysteries
You can see bones sticking out.
as they breathe life back into their homes.
I don't like to look too close into this because it scares the Jesus out of me.
So, will they be safe as houses?
I think that's got to be a superior thing.
Or will their dreams come tumbling down?
You're right, Springy.
Oh, just a little. And that's exactly what we didn't want to happen.
As they restore the past to build their future.
From a one-bedroom flat in London to Little Live Heaven.
We bought a village.
Today,
So today at the village we have chaos.
a medieval village has a wedding to plan.
It's just an enormous amount of things to organise, and I have literally no time.
As they start a brand new project, a couple explores an abandoned hamlet.
Oh, look up there. I don't know what's in it, too.
I'm sorry, just about that.
It's a mobile barbecue.
And a couple from Kent have a smashing time renovating their abandoned village.
See, this is where XXL Brawn is now. Here we go.
On the northern coast of France, Normandy is an ancient and picturesque agricultural heartland, which has been providing food for the whole nation for centuries. Situated 140 miles south of Rouen, the hamlet of La Boulière was once a small but bustling agricultural centre, where many families of land workers lived and worked for centuries before the advent of farming technology. Abandoned in the last century, it would have crumbled into oblivion if it wasn't for Paul and Yip from Kent, who bought these ruins to rescue them and give them new life.
For us, seeing the work that must have gone into these buildings and all the oak beams and just all that carpentry skill and all the stonework, we want to be part of keeping that alive and not just let them fall, because that is happening all over France.
Paul and Yip moved to La Boulière just 4 weeks ago. They plan to restore the village and let the cottages out as holiday homes.
Very excited to be living here now. It is amazing.
For the last 4 weeks, Paul and Yip have dedicated themselves to liberating their village from the vegetation that engulfed it. To keep on renovating, though, they've realised they urgently need an income. They want to restart their landscaping business over here, but first they need to be granted French residency.
Big day today. We're at the prefecture building for our residency appointment. Nerve-wracking time. Well, no, in a short while. Yes, whether we've got residency, whether we've got whether France is sending us now.
Armed with their paperwork, the pair head into the office, keeping everything crossed. With funds running low, it's vital their application is successful so they can set up their business. But just over an hour later, news isn't good.
Could have gone better. So basically, to get the carte de séjour, the residency permit, you need a social security number, which has all been applied for. That's all been fine. But they had no evidence of it at the prefecture office. This was kind of irritating. We're keen to get into the system and to be working, even to fund our project at least, you know. But for the moment, we're on holiday for the next month. So lots of café au lait and croque monsieur. That's the Ed Frit. Ed Frit.
Paul and Yip may not be allowed to set up a business in France yet, but for this pair of history lovers, nothing stops them from embracing the culture of their new chosen country.
We've recently purchased a Citroen 2CV. Why wouldn't you when you live in France? It's just a bit of fun to nip up the shop and get our bits and pieces in, and just needs its MOT, and then we can
And a good polish.
and a good polish, and we can get going in it. But
Off to Granville Beach.
yeah, how wonderful. We live in the French dream. Love it.
As they wait to be allowed to work, Paul and Yip are also keen to start renovating the interiors of their many buildings. And they've been looking for bargain pieces in local antique markets.
went to pick up some ladders, didn't we, the other night, and the chap had a staircase for sale, which we bought hoping it's going to fit in the barn. Yeah, so we're going to fit those.
We didn't have any measurements. We had no idea we were going to come across that staircase.
But for €30, we took the gamble.
Exactly.
Before they start the work, they need to move their other recent bargain purchase out of the way.
I'll jump-start the car and move it over so that we can back the van down to get the staircase out. So yeah, it needs to be jump-started because it's not quite the batteries had it on here, so fingers crossed it starts. One of these. Get ready to whip them off. Yeah, it starts. Bit of choke.
Paul and Jip's visions of motoring through the French countryside in a robin's egg blue vintage car might be romantic, but so far the Citroen doesn't want to move even an inch. Gascony, in the deep southwest of France, is a treasure trove of medieval monuments. From castles to cathedrals, these stone-built marvels have seen it all, from the plague to the French Revolution. 2 hours south of Bordeaux stands a historical medieval village, Castelnau-du-Fumacon, which has been completely restored by its French owner Frederic Cousteau, using materials scavenged from ruined buildings from all over the region.
The stones are coming from one of the castle, the windows too, and the painted beams are coming from the same castle. So it looks as if it was always here.
Once Castelnau was a fortress built to repel invaders. These days, however, it welcomes guests as a unique events venue. And owner Frederick has put an Englishwoman in charge of the entire village, Anne Plum from London, who is just as captivated by this ancient village.
If you come out here, this is actually where the second main street in the village used to be. You can see where there were other houses because the foundations were still here. The best thing about the village is the fact that you can see the history still. You can imagine how it was when it was a fully functioning medieval village, even though that's a million miles from where we are nowadays.
Anne has lived and worked at the village from 2013, organising up to 30 events every year. It's now August 2021, and the village has been closed to the public for 18 months due to the COVID pandemic, depriving Castelnau of vital income. But with COVID restrictions gradually relaxing, Anne has finally got the green light to organise their first wedding in over a year and a half.
I have lots of things I need to organise. One of the biggest issues that I have at the moment is the pass sanitaire, which is a thing that's coming into use in France. It is basically an application that everybody has to have, which proves that they have had a double vaccine or a negative PCR test in order to attend events over 50 people.
A total of 90 people are booked to attend the wedding, which will be held in the village's original 12th century church.
It's actually bringing back all the people who normally work here, who haven't been here since 2019 when we did our final wedding then.
Anne and her team may have an exciting wedding in the pipeline, but today has just brought a completely unexpected extra challenge, a request from village owner Frederick.
So today at the village we have chaos. We have this enormous truck full of furniture from Lisbon because the owner has sold his palace, and we're now trying to fit the contents of the state palace into the village.
With 14 different houses to play with, Anne needs to decide what item to put in what house.
We have to unwrap things because we don't know what they are. Everything has a number, but not a name, so it's sort of a voyage of discovery.
just a home nightmare.
The sofa's coming in this way, so we're going to strap it up and pull it up, and it's coming in this bedroom, and it'll look fantastic.
And fitting modern furniture into these medieval houses can provide an extra challenge. 6 hours later, the lorry has been emptied. And now Emily has the mammoth task of making sure the new furniture fits in around the old in time for the wedding.
It is a bit like we've just moved into the village. Every single house is now completely upside down and needs reworking. There are beds that need to be built, chairs that need to be moved around. So I feel like this is like the beginning of an endless saga.
Coming up, in Italy, the owners of a hilltop hamlet get cracking on a brand new purchase.
What on earth are you doing?
And after an 18-month enforced break, is the Castleknock team ready for action?
We're all a bit nervous because we've done a wedding for like a year and a half. We've got a leak in the fryer, which is it's not good.
Surrounded by the majestic Alps lies the Italian region of Piedmont, which was once known for producing rice and wine, but has now become Italy's industrial powerhouse thanks to its biggest car maker, Fiat. For the last 80 years, workforce has been drawn from agriculture to the factories near Turin, which has emptied many historical hamlets and villages in the countryside. And that's exactly what happened to the hilltop settlement of Moray. Situated 65 miles south of Turin, it wouldn't be here today had it not been for a couple from Yorkshire.
You fell in love with the place?
I did. We saw this house, fell in love with it, bought it.
Yeah, it didn't take us long.
No.
Francesca and Carl started off with buying one of the abandoned houses to use as a holiday home. But over the last few years, they've snapped up more buildings in Moray and converted them into self-catering holiday apartments.
You never own these properties, so we're just custodians. In 30 years' time, 50 years' time, it'll still be standing, everything will still be good.
Oh, yeah.
So we're just custodians.
Very proud to own and to have helped develop this place, and we feel privileged to do this, and we want to share it with other people.
Yeah.
It's December 2021. For about a year, the couple have been negotiating to buy the only property they don't yet own in the centre of Moray. They're still waiting to hear back from the owner, but meanwhile they're cracking on with renovations at the southern end of the village, where they've been building a balcony.
This is where people can sit on an evening.
Yeah, we've already got the furniture.
Yeah, we've actually got the furniture. It's all brand new. It's never even been walked on. It's all brand new. So I just thought, I'll cover it up for its winter. It's really cool.
Once the balcony is complete, Francesca and Carl can advertise the honeymoon suite overlooking their vineyard and cater for weddings and events.
They can eat as much as they like, they can drink as much as they like, and then they'll say, oh, I really like this wine, so I want to take half a dozen bottles of this home with us. So then they can do that as well, and buy all the wine as well if we get a wedding.
Tastefully furnishing the area below the balcony will be of vital importance, and Francesca thinks she's found just the right furniture. The only problem is it's 1,000 miles away from Moray, in the Yorkshire Dales, currently stored at Francesca's mum's. And Francesca and Carl have headed back to collect it.
What happened was Francesca got a flight just before Christmas to see family and friends, went to the Harrogate Conference Centre and bought some garden furniture. So what she's done is she's bought it, not realising how we're going to get it home.
I hope it's in.
I do as well.
Now we're in trouble.
We are.
With a total of 6 large boxes to load and only their trusty pickup truck to rely on for the journey to Italy, it'll be a big squeeze.
5 boxes.
Chairs.
Yeah, the legs for the table, the chairs.
preliminary, darling.
Go inside.
It's a game of Tetris for Francesca and Carl, who managed to fit the first 5 boxes in the van. Just one more to go.
This is box number 6. The last one.
Is it a bench or a chair?
It's a chair, single chair.
There's 2
Benches.
2 benches and 4 floors.
This is the last chair. It may not go in. We'll see.
But luckily,
Yes! Yes! Yay!
Yes.
with their new furniture on board, Francesca and Carl can now begin their long journey back to Moray.
I'm in the groove again. That's my hip for you.
The couple are one step closer to finishing renovations of their hamlet, and if they can snap up the last house, the project will truly be complete. At the 800-year-old renovated village of Casino, it's the eve of a very special day, and Annalie and her team are hard at work.
It is our first wedding for 18 months. We're all a bit nervous because we've done a wedding for like a year and a half. Nobody really remembers what to do, and it's the first time we've been full village for a long time. So there is sort of an undercurrent of ridiculous that everyone's feeling. But I'm sure if you're like riding a bike and we'll remember what we're doing, it will all come together.
The 2 most important guests have already arrived. Bride and groom Amber and Beck from Essex booked their French fairy tale wedding in 2019. But the last 2 years have been a roller coaster of uncertainty.
I would have put the couch bit last year just because I couldn't deal with would it happen, would it not happen? I'd rather have just known.
Good job on the box, basically, otherwise we wouldn't be here right now. So it's because you'll be listening to me, isn't it?
Sometimes.
Going into marriage on the right foot, I think.
But though they couldn't be happier, they chose to pin their hopes on an ancient village for their big day.
We just fell in love with it. It's just such a special place. There's just nowhere else like it.
All the friends and family here on site, no need to leave to go anywhere else, so it was a no-brainer.
Perfect, yeah.
As the sun is about to set on Castleknock, the bus carrying the bride and groom's guests finally arrives, and the team springs into action.
Welcome! Welcome! I'm super happy. This is lovely watching everyone get off the bus. An actual crowd of people back in the village. This is what we do it for. Drink on the way in, a bit of glass, nice glass of champagne, and then they get to discover the house.
After the welcome drink, the guests get shown their houses, while the pizza truck prepares for evening service. In the kitchen, however, there's an unexpected problem.
We've got a leak in the fryer, which is it's not good.
Luckily, one side of the fryer is still operational, but with guests now coming out of their houses and ordering food, Claudine is preparing for the onslaught. The pizza van at least is fully operational. Which means the guests have something to eat, and wedding planner Nick has managed to delay Chip's orders to give Claudine some breathing space.
Yeah, it's Richard, it's a go, go, go on chips. Friends, they call them in France, I think.
And just 10 minutes later, Claudine can finally send out the first round of chips. Despite the hiccup, Andy's team has soldiered on efficiently.
Feels really good to have people back in the village enjoying it. Everyone's eaten, everyone is content, and I think they're kind of saving themselves for tomorrow, which is normal also. And it's just generally been a nice evening.
But the wedding day itself is still to come.
I always look forward to the big day, but there is lots of pressure moments when my team will be anxious. I have to have my really calm head on. Patience is key.
Coming up, after months of negotiations, there's a big upset for Francesca and Carl.
At this moment in time, the guy
It's not playing ball.
is not playing ball, not at all. So we made him an offer, and they left us.
And following you get to grips with their bargain staircase.
Moment of truth. Then they slide down like
At Moray in Piedmont, it's December 2021. Francesca and Carl have long been trying to purchase the only house they don't own in the centre of the hamlet. But their dream has unfortunately hit the buffers.
At this moment in time, the guy
It's not playing ball.
is not playing ball, not at all. So we made him an offer, and they left us. Straight up.
At the same time, I sort of said, you know, obviously we're still interested in the house. And he says he didn't want to sell it for sentimental value. So, I don't know. I don't think he'll sell it on.
For now, Francesca and Carl have decided to put the negotiations on ice. But with the money they made during the last holiday season and plenty of property lying empty and unloved in the area, they've come up with a new plan. Just 12 minutes drive away from Moray lies another abandoned hamlet. Cascina Contini is smaller than Moray, but shares its fate. It's not been lived in for the last 30 years.
Welcome to Contini. Casa Contini.
No, not a lot.
Today, Francesca's sister Giovanna and her husband Cornell are visiting, and the group are taking a trip to look at Francesca and Carl's latest project.
This is going to be let out as just one whole house. We're not going to be here. It's just let out 4 bedrooms.
We've also got another building there which is to keep animals in, rabbits, chickens, all sorts. That's on 2 floors, so I'm going to build that up. So there will be a viewing point up there with a bar area. That's going to go there. I just can't even wait.
You've got the vision for us.
I know, we're a bit thinning out. We never stop.
The visit starts in the bowels of the main house in the traditional cantina. Right until the moment it was abandoned, the owners of Cascina Contini made wine.
So this is the original cantina where they produce all the Barbera wine. So we've got 2 cement ones, but we've got a big...
Look at that woodwork. They are amazing.
Buying abandoned properties in Europe means they come as seen, including all their contents. And the main house Carl and Francesca have just bought is like a 1970s time capsule.
On the top of it, I don't know.
It's an antique. It's a mobile barbecue.
Oh, we still got a jar of stuff, but don't know if it'll put very long place. Yeah, we did find some documents, certificates and marriage certificates at some point. I can't remember where they are now.
It's a real piece of history.
It is.
You look at it, to say that the place hasn't been lived in for 35 years, it really gives a sense of history.
Ooh, it's creepy.
So this is bedroom number 1.
The bed was still made. The bed was still made. It's just like, it's just been left. You know, you just wouldn't imagine that in England. You just don't leave something like that, do you? See this old suitcase? What's the date on it? Just looking now. And it's chopped off brickwork. Tuesday. Your Tuesday. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, 1968.
So,
What?
68, 32, 53 years.
The prospect of weeks of clearing out hasn't dampened Francesca and Carl's enthusiasm for their new project.
I remember when we first came to see this house, I'm saying, play it cool, cubes. Don't be giving them like that. Within like 2 minutes at year 11.
After nearly completing their first project, Moray, Francesca and Carl have been so captivated by Italy's forgotten past that they just can't stop breathing new life into its ghost properties.
Work in progress, and we'll get there.
It's work in progress.
Getting in work in progress in Italian is, don't tell me, lavoro in corso.
That's it. Lavoro in corso.
Italian is going on slowly. Piano, piano.
At the small village of La Bruyere, Paul and Yip have embraced their new life, even to the point of buying the tiniest and Frenchest vintage car they could find.
Like a clown car, isn't it?
But they parked it in a most inconvenient spot, and they need to move it so they can start renovations to the barn. After a bit of coaxing, the car splatters back to life.
Yeah, it seems to be working, so that's good. So that all we've got to do is get a new battery, and then we'll be well away.
I've been a handbrake, and the wipers don't turn on.
Oh! Yeah, I'm pleased with that. I've worked out where reverse is anyway. Oh, that's good. Oh, wonderful. Not like to be going out in that.
With the car moved safely out of the way, Paul and Yip can bring in an even more useful vintage find. The old oak staircase they snapped up. They're now just crossing their fingers that it's the perfect fit for their barn.
Ready? Yep. Hang on.
That's right. Moment of truth. When they slide down,
What bargain? 30
it's
euros.
amazing that it's very pleased with that.
We've only been able to put stuff on this ground floor, so we've instantly doubled our capacity for storage.
And storage will be sorely needed, as Paul and Yip are now starting the interior renovation on their row of cottages.
We're in cottage 3.
Number 3, potential holiday let.
Actually, holiday let, yeah.
It is kind of more important that the jigs and stuff are worked on and, you know, kind of work continues on those because they are our only source of income.
So yeah, get as much done as we can over winter and hopefully springtime we can have something ready, aren't we?
First job of many is to remove a partition wall, currently separating the kitchen and living room on the ground floor. In the French style of the 1970s, it's made of ornate wooden panels.
Take this down.
Yeah.
Then you knock this bar off.
Yeah.
Then they slide down.
Thought I might just smash it because there's going to be nails there and we'll blow our soul. This is where XL drawn is. Here we go. That's it. We love it, don't we? Quite like the funky wallpaper. I feel like we need to frame
it, yeah.
a bit of it. Keep that.
There you go.
Now that Paul and Yip have got a taste for demolition, there's no stopping them.
Look, whole wall in one.
There we go.
It's good, jobs like that that's only taken within an hour. There's things like this that boost morale, I think, because sometimes, because there's so much to do, you think, Paul, we sometimes feel like we're not getting as far forward as we would like.
With 5 cottages to fix up, it's great to get going.
Very pleased so far. Now we can just clean up and then start stripping all the walls. Could be quite quick to get this one done.
After a lifetime spent renting in the UK, the fact that they own the whole hamlet in the French countryside is still sinking in.
When we buy something, And I say to Paul, oh, where should we put it? And then Paul says, I'll put it in cottage number 3. Not only do we own our own property, we've got a small village. So it does feel like a dream at the minute.
There's a bit of chaos going on here because we now got a house out of action.
Pre-wedding prep has Annalie feeling the heat.
I feel the pressure. I feel the pressure.
And as Francesca and Carl start their new project,
Never been up here before.
they unveil a priceless new feature.
Fantastic news. Oh, really lovely news.
Oh, look out! There's another house up there to do up.
At the restored medieval village of Castlelo, manager Annalie and her team are busily preparing for wedding day. And it hasn't started well.
Chef called in sick, and a plumbing issue, and the village plumber is currently on holiday in Nice. I know that, so that poses a problem.
There's a blockage in a septic tank, which means the toilets in one of the occupied houses are completely out of action.
It's actually common in France because when you live quite rurally, you're not on lanes like you are in the city, so you can't put tons of toilet paper down it. Unfortunately, people who come from other countries or live in cities, they don't know that.
Annalie has come up with a plan to solve the problem, but it comes at a cost.
We've got another house, thankfully, that we can move to. The cleaners have moved there to quickly prepare that for them. However, one of the cleaners is actually my kitchen staff, so now I'm on my own in the kitchen. Trying not to lose my mind at the moment. It shouldn't be this complicated, but I guess that's what happens when you do your first event for 18 months.
With the wedding ceremony just an hour away, Claudine races to set up the new house and move the guests' belongings, while Annalie gets on with preparing canapes. Half an hour later, the bride leaves her house to walk to the church, and the clock starts ticking for Annalie.
I feel the pressure. I feel the pressure.
Castlelo's ancient church has seen thousands of weddings over the centuries, and today it's about to be centre stage for Dick and Amber's big day. At 4 o'clock, under the warm French sun, the wedding party arrives, and it's time for the couple to tie the knot.
You are potentially the most family
An hour later, as Dick and Amber leave the church as man and wife, the celebration can begin. And Anna's staff are coordinating every move to keep things running smoothly.
2 more, 3 more photos, we're going around.
Back in the kitchen, Anna's experience and hard work means she's caught up with the prep and is almost ready to send out the canapes.
Richard, could you start putting burgers in burger buns for me?
And the catering team are going full pelt,
We're going to put one of those through each to hold it together, yeah?
assembling all the component parts Annalie has been preparing over the last few days.
This is how we need every single inch of space in this kitchen as you prepare all these canapes. This is going to take 57 people, so imagine when we do 200 people. Crazy.
Outside, after leaving the church, the wedding party has paraded down the village's main street to the Grand Terrace, which has fantastic views over the surrounding countryside. And Amber and Dick are thrilled with how the day is going.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's been so special.
Everyone's enjoying themselves.
Everyone absolutely loves the village. They just think it's amazing, don't they? Constant compliments.
This place will be forever in our hearts.
Yeah, it's really special. I think everybody's fallen in love here in here.
100%.
Finally, the time has come for Annalie's campaigns to leave the kitchen bang on schedule.
Right, well, who's got 240? I feel really proud when I see it all like this laid out, and I know how hard we've worked, and it looks good, it's pretty. I'd be happy to eat it. It's good moments.
As service gets underway, the rest of the meal goes without a hitch.
You're on it.
And all of Amber and Dick's guests are having the time of their lives. As the sun goes down on Capilano and the wedding cake is served, Anne-Marie and her team can celebrate a successful return to business after 18 months.
I can't tell you what it means to have people back here and to have people enjoying all that we do behind the scenes and to know that they've put as much into it as we put into it to make it all happen. Today has been a challenge and had a few hiccups on the way, but at the end of the day, it pretty much went to plan. The sun shone, the alcohol flowed, the music played, and the food came out, and they're having a good time. I'm proud.
The village and his team have gone above and beyond to create the perfect day for Amber and Dec, and it's been a resounding success. But the next wedding on the books will be twice the size, so Anne-Marie and her team can't afford to get complacent. 550 miles to the south, it's a big day for Hamlet owners Francesca and Carl. A week after buying Cascina Contini, the couple are back on site to start work on their new project, liberating it from the vegetation that has begun to take over.
Today we are felling 5 trees. We've employed 3 tree surgeons to do this on our behalf because one of them is really 40-50 foot high and it's right next to an electrical cable. I'm not insurance, taking an electric cable down. As you can hear, they're firing the chainsaws up already. So, any minute now, we're going to be making a start.
The first tree they're tackling is an impressive pine behind the farmhouse.
Excellent. Wow! Well done. Excellent. Really happy with that, really happy. We need to clear some of the branches off the main trunk of the tree. We're going to go around just to see how thick it is. I suspect, I don't know, 50.
Well, you can count the years on it by the rings. That's how you see it.
The wood needs to be stacked in the open air for 2 years before it can be used for fuel.
Francesca, it's got a 30 kilo one in her hands. No way.
Next, the tree surgeons move to this big tree that's growing outside Francesca and Carl's barn, opposite the farmhouse.
This guy, like belongs in a circus, I'm sure. He's even going higher now, look. So yeah, he's just going to take it down in bite-sized pieces and then just work his way back down. Wow. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. But you've got to be fit to do this as well.
And while the tree surgeons work to clear the vegetation that's taken over Cascina Contini, Carl is also on a climbing voyage of discovery inside their impressive hayloft.
Never been up there before. This is great.
Positioned at the eastern end of the complex, Carl has plans to turn the hayloft into a 2-bed apartment with a hot tub on the top floor, giving incredible views over the valley below. Apparently, though, there's a crumbling wall in the way.
What, you might have that?
You've got one, or a lump hammer.
Yeah, look.
The only problem with clearing the view is that it's giving Francesca new ideas.
Well, not count. There's another handpick there to do it. Looks like an empty van. It looks in better condition than ours.
That's great.
What a fantastic views. Oh, it's amazing. I think it's really nice.
At least we've knocked it down. Before it falls down.
It'll be months before the conversion of the hayloft can begin. To generate some income, first Carl will need to renovate the big farmhouse to rent out, joining it up with the adjacent barn.
As you can see, the construction is, I don't know. It's as if they'd made it up as they went along. But you can see the original stone wall, you can see that, and then it obviously has fallen in at some stage 50, 60 years ago, and then rebuilt it up in the terracotta bricks. I'm just hoping that it doesn't create me problems when I come to going through. I might actually just go for it.
Eager to find out how these old walls were built and gauge just how much work there is ahead, Carl has decided to knock through more of the wall that separates the house from the barn.
There we go. Fortunately, we're only 10 minutes away from the local hospital. Getting back to Turner.
But all the demolition has attracted Francesca's attention.
Francesca, you're going crazy.
What on earth are you doing?
Making you a bedroom door.
Be careful.
See if I bring it this way.
That's enough. That's enough, Carl. You can't do any more. You can...
Okay. I'll let you clear this one up.
Oh, thank you. Very kind of you.
That's great, I'm happy with that. So all the builders can come in now and tidy up with them.
That would be good. Instead of us doing it.
With a mix of heavy stone, cement, brick and rubble, renovating this house will be a massive challenge.
I don't think there is one straight wall in the entire house. If I were to build a wall now and it's plumb straight, it either makes that look not right or the other's not right. When you get something that's straight, it's really bizarre.
It looks like Carl has a lot of delicate work ahead. Can the couple rescue Cascina Contini from years of neglect and breathe new life into it like they did with Bore? Next time, there's breaking news for Annalie.
There seems to be some aftermath. Not sure quite what's happened.
Paul and Yip take on their century-old plumbing system.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
That's not the words for it.
And Francesca and Carl race against time to reopen More.
We are up against it now because we open this at lock next week. It's only a week away.
Abandoned villages are scattered across Europe.
Most of these places are in ruins.
But for these intrepid couples,
It was love at first sight.
there's the opportunity of a lifetime
Absolutely beautiful views.
if they can survive the renovations.
We feel exhausted.
We feel exhausted.
The do-it-yourself project like no other. On Help, we bought a village.
Wednesday night, only on PBS Wisconsin.
The palaces of the British royal family.
Thousands of years of secrets and drama and intrigue.
These opulent places
The Royal Collection is worth billions.
have incredible history.
Extravagant display of power, and that was the whole point.
It's a look behind the scenes
This sort of mythical place in our hearts.
at Secrets of the Royal Palaces.
Coming up next on the Wisconsin Channel.
Hi, I'm Natalie Blum, and I'm hosting a PBS Wisconsin sponsored tour with Holiday Vacations. We're off to explore Yosemite and coastal California this summer. We'll ride cable cars in San Francisco, go wine tasting in Napa, and explore Yosemite National Park. We'll also visit Monterey Bay and embark on a whale watching cruise. And board a train for a ride to the Santa Cruz Mountains. Let our adventure begin at pbswisconsin.org/travel.
Exclusive beaches, which we are
In the decorative arts, the concepts of modern aesthetics are applied to metal jewelry by Art Smith in his Greenwich Village shop. He makes all the novel items on display in the attractive sales room and waits on customers himself. Here's a sample of his unusual wares, attractive however you look at it.
The mid-century modernist jewelry movement was a period of time in which artists were turning to jewelry as a form of art. Art Smith is recognized as a significant maker in this movement. Mid-century modernist jewelers were creating something that was new and amazing and that was art, wearable art. They were really moving away from the idea of mass-produced objects and focusing more on the person who creates the work.
The ideas come from just the fact that one is a creative person. I think about the body, I think about the neck, I think about the fingers. What could I do in and around the finger, not just on the finger? A ring can go around the finger, it can go up a finger, down a finger, across a finger. Really, it can be incomplete on the finger. End result is just as if a sticky hand went into a pot of stones and came out with a variety of stones coming through various fingers and in between fingers.
Art was a man of great sophistication and elan. He always had that soigné about him. He's very dark-skinned, and his hair was always well coiffed, and he had on one of his rings. He was also a loving person and a strong teacher.
In 1974, Art Smith gets an invitation to participate as a mentor and a teacher at Haystack Mountain School of Crafts for the summer of 1974, focus on Black craftsmanship, bringing all of these young artists to learn from these sort of senior African-American artists like Art Smith.
I was a student there, so I'm making things as I usually do, chewing gum, stretching plastic, soaking in water, doing something. And he looked at my work and he said, I will never forget this. I don't know what you're doing, but don't stop. And this is from a classic jeweler, a classic metal artist. He saw his job was to teach me how to employ his knowledge into my work.
This was actually my first real professional shoot. Art was showing a great deal of confidence, faith, and belief, and you were there.
Adding beauty and grace.
And advice. Part of my experience at Haystack was trying a lot of different things, and this was certainly right up there. The pictures of you and Art, we were sort of just goofing.
And that was one of the positive things about Art, that he took us as we were.
The ingredients that have always been involved in my work are metal and wire. Then a third ingredient, space, which I use very actively, very concretely, because of my own orientation for designing that way. But also, as a very cheap component. It's there. Yeah.
The jewelry was dynamic and sculptural. It had so much mobility to it. He was a jazz aficionado, and the way that the jewelry moves and swings and swerves is so similar to jazz.
He was a glorious technician. He understood how to turn metal, saw metal, grind down the edges, file them, and polish, and to make them beautiful. He took a humble material like brass and copper, bronze, and elevated it. One of the things that was cemented in my life from a mentor like Art is to know that you're not alone in this. In fact, you should be holding the hand of someone else who you push in, and then they'll push you in a different way.
You don't throw away anything. That's one of the things that Joyce told me. You don't throw away anything. I moved here to Baltimore in 2008 and completed my certificate in jewelry design. All of my faculty members who taught me were white. So when you start talking about entering into a narrative or a conversation about your culture and how you bring your culture and your identity into the work, I had to find another voice.
Joyce had seen me tinkering with my jewelry, and she started critiquing me. Because you really worked this surface nicely. That started the mentoring relationship. I do have a suggestion. I'm not reading it as a face so well. Okay. You might want to shape the eye so you could drop the stone in. Yeah. So you have a real eye shape. In schools and colleges, they're asking basic questions like, where are the teachers that look like me? If you are telling me that I can do this, how come I don't see somebody like me who is doing this? We need all of those stories, those narratives, that archive of history to come forward. And when you have that right brain artistic capacity, you have a specialness that talks about a way of living, a way of being, belief systems. Now, when you say I'm a mentor, I am in the sense a person who believes you don't give up. You have this one life, and you have the ability to make jewelry.
Art Smith was many things. He was an immigrant American. His parents were Jamaican and had moved from Jamaica to Cuba to the United States to New York to find work. His father was involved in UNIA, which is Marcus Garvey's movement about Black power and Black self-sufficiency. He was a gay man during a period of time when people weren't as tolerant. He was an African American man, so he faced racial issues. He received a scholarship to Cooper Union for college. He graduated with a degree in advertising design. He started a position in Harlem teaching kids arts and crafts and trades.
In the room next to mine was Elizabeth Mason. She used to bring in handmade jewelry. It was enough to somewhat fascinate me, and I began working in the metal. She opened the business, and I was the right-hand man in everything, but sharing the proceeds.
He quickly outshines Winifred Mason, and his work becomes very well known in her shop.
At the end of 4 years, I came to the late realization that I could be doing all the things I'm doing for her, for myself, and that's what I did. I opened a little tiny place on Cornelia Street, but the street was very antagonistic. They were intolerant of Bohemians, they were intolerant of Jews, they were intolerant of Negroes. Every time you went out your door, you went through an antagonistic bunch of people standing outside saying things. They were breaking my window, and they were attempting to run me over. And you could not get real police cooperation.
Oh, make it more mean.
Notice that he had problems, but that didn't stop him. And that vigilance is one of the things that we talked about.
Yeah, no point doing the adding until this is all done.
Yeah.
That is too many nooks and crannies to stick with.
I agree.
The vigilance it takes to be true to yourself.
That's waiting.
And to your artwork. Just thinking about your connection with
Hi,
art,
Sinna.
connection to you. I tried to make a piece like the three of us together. Art lava bracelet that inspired me. The undulate. It's a sculpture, not a piece of jewelry. The beaded piece that you gave me for my birthday. Yeah. This came from my grandmother's cemetery. So that whole thing of carrying art with me and my own family. And then they're carrying.
You want to shower first? You want me to?
Go ahead, do it.
Okay.
That.